This kind of film is really not my thing.
An interesting statement from actress Kristen Scott Thomas. It's day 8 of the most prestigious film festival in the world, and things in Cannes have become quite turbulent, which brings us to one of the most hard-hitting action films ever to be in competition here. Only God Forgives, from director Nicolas Winding Refn.
I know it's hard for you. You've lost your brother. Did you get the guy that did it?
It's a little more complicated than that, Mother.
I approach things very much like a pornographer. It's about what arouses me. And certain things turn me on more than other stuff, and I can't suppress that need, and that's how it usually ends up like that. I don't consider myself a very violent man. I'm the first. I mean, I would die if somebody even looked at me evil. But I have surely a fetish for violent emotions.
It's the second time the director has teamed up with Ryan Gosling, who unfortunately couldn't make this year's festival. A previous collaboration, Drive, saw Nicolas scoop the Best Director trophy back in 2011. In Only God Forgives, Kristen Scott Thomas plays Ryan's foul-mouthed mother.
She had no problem turning on the bitch switch.
It's frighteningly easy, actually.
If the tables were turned, your brother would have found your killer, brought me his head on a
Every day was a bit like, well, what should we say, and
What's worse?
what's worse? I remember asking Ryan, so what's the worst thing you can call a woman in America? And he kind of said, oh, call her cum dumpster. All right, cum dumpster. And, you know, we would talk about, so...
I couldn't say that word. It took me about 8 takes to actually pronounce that word.
Can you do it now?
No.
No.
One of the most experimental films presented in Cannes this year is As I Lay Dying, from actor-turned-filmmaker James Franco.
For me, directing a film is the most enjoyable thing in life.
The movie is an adaptation of the 1930s novel of the same name by American author William Faulkner, widely recognized as one of the best books of 20th century literature.
One of the great things that Faulkner does is he'll take a very grounded human story, fairly simple story of a family whose mother dies and needs to be buried in the city, and just their journey of taking her to the city. But on top of that, or underneath that, he infuses great depth. It feels epic.
The story, which stands out for having multiple narrators, hooked Franco from a very young age.
I got into a little bit of trouble when I was in high school, and so there was a period when I had to stop hanging out with certain friends, and so I'd stay home on the weekends. And I can remember reading this book on a Friday night while all my friends were out having fun, but it immediately kind of engrossed me.
Later that night, the long-awaited Only God Forgives celebrated a rich red carpet premiere. Accompanied by Kristen Scott Thomas, his daughter and his wife, director Nicolas Winding Refn stepped onto the famous red carpet once again.
It's